Greetings, people. I'm back again. On a hot day, it's 23 degrees, 22 at 11 o'clock in Denmark. That means that the good old Danish population is going out of their brains. They can't handle anything over 20 degrees. They think that Satan came up and poured liquid lava all over their places, and they are now complaining that they have to sweat for a bit. Not me, I love it. But I'm going to talk about Linux again, because I saw this video today. When did it came out from low level? There will be a link to it down below. A day ago so it's the 16th that came out. I will say first, this is not a Linux hate video. A lot of people think I'm this like Linux hater. I'm not. I'm a realistic person, a Linux realist, if you say it like that. I want people to take Linux seriously and not just blindly follow what everyone is saying because it makes them feel good inside what they're saying. The Linux world nowadays, for the last almost 20 years, and I've been part of it for over 30, has been a lot of, let's make a lot of statements to validate my choice to move away from other systems. And some of them are good, but a lot of them are not based in actual facts. They are just emotional reasons, emotional arguments for why you should run this great OS. And ever since I started this channel, I have been talking a lot about not the Linux kernel falling apart, but if you go and look at low level, his channel, again, link down below to the video, and his channel, great fucking videos, great channel. I think he's a Linux user himself, like I am. I'm both a Windows and Mac and Linux user. I use whatever tool is best for the job. Oh, and before we go into this, don't comment until you watch the video to the end. You can't judge a book by its cover or by reading the first page. So do yourself a favor, do me a favor, watch the video to the end, and then you can go nuts and tell me how wrong and stupid I am in the comment section. Give me a like if you like it. Give me a dislike if you don't like it. Hit the subscribe button, the bell, and join my Discord to yell at me in there if you want to. So now that's out of the way. Ever since I started this channel, I have always been said that, we'll go into the comment section, but I always said, like, don't just blindly think that you are secure. Don't just blindly think that something is more stable because people say so. Don't blindly think because something like, oh, open source, everyone can see the source code. That means that people will, and they will fix bugs, and it will be fast. And there's a lot of maybes, ifs, and I said maybe, I'm stupid, ifs and buts and stuff like that. That's the whole make me feel good reason for using Linux. There's no real fact behind it. At best, there is white papers that contradict it, done by people that combined have 200-300 years of experience in this field, which I trust more than a random YouTuber or Linux user. There are white papers from Red Hat and Canonical, Microsoft, IBM, Oracle that looks into all of this. And if you want to, you can Google it and you can find them yourself. This just clarified what I have been saying and what my community has been saying ever since I started this channel. Linux is an alternative to Windows, but it has the same problems. And the problem with Linux is not the code. It's not the openness or closeness of the source code. It's the fact that it's humans doing it, and sometimes AI. It will fail. We will fail. AI will mess shit up, we will mess shit up. And you cannot expect that just because you can see the good old source code, that makes it better. Because most people are not qualified to do it. If you have a population of Linux users, let's say 1 million, maybe only hundreds of thousands of them have the qualification to actually look at the kernel or userland code and do something about it. And most won't because they don't get paid for it. And that's the sad reality. They'd rather sit and work at that job where they do get paid than fix a little bug or look over or review the source code. Typically, source code reviews in proprietary software and open source software are being done internally sometimes by volunteers, but still run internally, meaning that the project set time aside to review code or ask people to review code or pray to whatever they believe in that someone will review the code. And that's why we get these things not found. AI supposedly is going to help with this. And it's also going to help proprietary software and open source software, make it faster and better to find exploits. But apparently this one here cannot even be found with with Claude, whatever the fuck it's called he's talking about here. Watch the video, it's only like 13 minutes long. Just because you have been told something, don't make it so. I have a lot of problems with Linux on the desktop for my day-to-day life. There's just things I can't do with it. And I get a lot of that. Oh, it's a skill issue. So and that basically means that because they don't have a problem and I have a problem, it's because I don't know how to run Linux. My problem is not that I don't know how to run Linux, it's the software that I need. There's no good alternatives, and if it's a skill issue, I could probably do it, but it will take me decades to make an alternative. Imagine making an alternative Photoshop suite that can do the same as Affinity and Photoshop. GIMP is kind of there, but it's not the same. You get what I'm coming at here? Or if you have like a favorite audio processing plugin, suite manager, whatever the fuck it is, imagine how long it will take to redo that, even with fucking vibe coding. The whole skill issue is a cope, and this is what I kind of want to draw out. It's not so much they say that Linux has bugs. Linux will have bugs, Linux will get security breaches, Linux will get hacked, it will get viruses, your data will and can be compromised on Linux. That's the mindset you should have on any piece of software you run. Never expect any piece of software to be secure, stable, unbreachable. Because it's never 100% that. It can be super. Linux has been super stable for me. Windows 11 has been more stable the last 15 years. If you go over a 15-year lifespan, and Windows 10 and 11 has had less crashes on my hardware, this is a me situation, than Linux has. And that goes back to this, like, well, I don't have a problem, so therefore it's a skill issue. I have never seen a polar bear. I never touched one. I only heard people tell me about it, and I've heard people or seen people show it to me. You get what I'm coming at? And that comes down here. So one of the first comments I see here is, I would describe vulnerabilities being discovered and fixed as falling apart. And this is where the whole Linux world does it in my head. Because had he made a video about the NT kernel on Windows, that Windows 11 is falling apart, said same person, said same people from the community would be swinging their dicks around like they got laid for the first time and had to tell anyone, their mother, that they knew what a vagina is. But because it's Linux, it's like, it's get fixed. Most of the problems you see with proprietary software typically get announced when they are fixed, or when there are workings in the mix. That's kind of how this works, okay? It's mind-boggling. I have a fly in here, apparently. How many people, especially in the Linux community, are willing to make statements like this, and then if it's the opposite side, they go nuts. They don't give the same, like, so, oh, there's a problem with Windows. Well, it's okay, it's human-made, it's a massive project. The Windows development teams and integrity and the size of Windows source code is probably dwarfing Linux and a lot of the Linux associated tooling. So yeah, the more complicated it is, the more probabilities of failure, bugs, and blah, blah, blah there is. You don't hear them say that. They're like, now people will move to Linux. Now people have to see the light because there is a little minute bug that only 1% of humanity knows how to exploit in Windows. While Linux has an exploit sometimes, Windows also, but Linux has come out with some exploit lately where if you can just read a README file, you can exploit it. And they're like, well, it's been fixed, or it's in the work, and it's only something. All the excuses comes out. And this is where, when we talked about credibility, you are losing the battle. Because if someone sees that has a little bit of critical thinking about them, see a comment like this here, well, it's discovered and fixed, it's not that big of a deal, and then you see the same Linux community go nuts with if Windows have a little unalignment or let's say Notepad takes 2 seconds too slow to boot up, they're like ripping it a new one for months. And Linux has a massive credibility issue right now. This is a little bit of the same here. Linux falling apart versus stagnating. Linux has stagnated since the kernel has stagnated for 20 years, if not more. Distribution makers and userland tools have stagnated for 10 years. There's not been a massive new technology coming out of Linux in a long time. It's older projects that get revived or retried, so Wayland, everyone thinks it's new. No, it's like over a decade old or something like that. It's just finally coming to a place where it's viable, and then a lot of people pick it up and try and see if they can plug it in again. I think the latest innovation we had on Linux, and I'm trying to keep it within the Linux world, because people say Proton, which I will give you, but it's really specific. It's only for gamers, basically, is what I'm trying to say here. It's targeting a really, really niche audience. The newest innovation in Linux that a broader audience can will use, and have accepted is the universal package managers, Snap, Flag, and App Images. And they are really old. Cosmic is not, if you take the Cosmic desktop, it's not an innovation. It's just yet another desktop environment done in Rust for a lot of reasons, some good, some bad, but it's just another desktop environment that mimics GNOME quite a lot, to be honest. So it's just a GNOME copy. I am like joking a bit here, but it's a GNOME copy in Rust. And I get why they're doing it. I like it. I do like Cosmic Desktop, but it's not innovating. But I encourage you, if you're a Linux user and you're angry over all of this here, if you like Linux, that's great. If you think proprietary software and Microsoft is the devil, great. Okay? Don't fall into the trap as this mindset here is falling into. Because this is complacency. This is like still the idea that I can't get hacked on Linux. I won't get hacked on Linux. It is more stable than any other OS, and it is more secure, and bugs will be fixed sooner. Never believe that. And it goes for Windows and Mac OS and proprietary software. Never have that mindset. I have seen a lot of professionals, let me put it another way, not professionals. I've seen a lot of businessmen, managers having this mindset, and then one day they did not listen to a few people in the development or IT department, because this kind of also goes for infrastructure. Oh, we haven't had a problem yet, so therefore it must not be a problem. And then one day, it can be tomorrow, it can be in 5 years, but one day, all the alignment in the universe, Josephine, an accountant, sneezes, her high heels fly over the counter and into the server room and hit a rack, and everything just fall apart. And then you find out they had like bit miners running on their server for like 5 years or something like that, because they didn't take security seriously. Or Joe in accountant was downloading illegal bit-towing, downloading illegal videos, because there were no proper etiquette and security measures and checking up on what was going on the network and stuff like that. You get the idea here. Just because Josephine sneezed, by the way. And this is what's happening with Linux now. Josephine is sneezing. And Josephine in this part here is that they're using AI to review code a lot of times. Which in of itself is not really a bad idea, to be honest. It's just, we should not trust AI 100% either. The reason why we see so much here is that Linux has become more popular. more companies are using Linux and open source software or for software. That means there's more eyes on the project. There are more people trying to work with it. And then you put the AI on top of it. You will see more vulnerabilities in Linux, FreeBSD, Hygo, Windows, whatever OS it is, or whatever licensed software it is. The more popular it becomes, the easier it becomes to debug or look into the code, the more you will see. But that don't mean you should be okay with it. But it means you have to expect it. So all you Linux fanatics out there that want Linux to be the year of the Linux desktop, you will see more of this. Because people use their computer in a unique way. And by using computers in unique ways, they will come into situations that developers have not thought about. Testers have not thought about. And they find a fault. And here's the thing. Instead of having this mindset here, you should be, great, we found it. It's been fixed. This should be a joy. This should be celebrated. Every time you find a bug or security flaw, it should be celebrated. Because it's like figuring out that you forgot to lock your fucking back door for a year. And your wife or your husband reminds you, and then, oh, that's fucking amazing. Thanks for the feedback. Now we're not getting burglarized by the raccoons anymore. You get what I'm coming at here. But people get so defensive over their favorite software and stuff like that, especially Linux users, because the Linux world is driven a lot by emotions, which is really sad. The reason why a lot of people use Linux is because of ideas and emotions. And I should probably make a video about that. Technically, if you want the best piece of software for you, and we don't take prior data collection and all that into the picture, because that's a whole nother can of worms that, yes, your OS don't spy on you, but I'm using Firefox and I'm on YouTube that spies more than in Windows does on you. So, that out of the way, but on a technical level, in a lot of instances, if you want the best tool for the job, the most compatible with the most software, the most hardware out of the box, where you have to do the least amount of work to get to a working state or get to do work, that's Windows. Sometimes it's Mac, sometimes it's Linux. But for the most part, on a technical level, if you want to, what is the best software I can use to do this job? In a lot of instances, that is a Windows-only software. That is the best, or one of the best. Or what is the piece of software where I can hire the most people that know how to use it? That would be a Windows piece of software, most of the time. Or what is the software with the most certifications that people have on? A lot of times, that would be Windows software. You get what I'm coming at here? That's why you hear a lot of these Windows, these kind of Linux users say, I know I'm herping a lot of this guy, but that's why you hear a lot of these type of Linux users. It's like, well, I don't like being spied on. I ownership of software and all of these things, while they go on to Steam and have like thousands of dollars on the Steam account worth of games that they don't own. And I'm like, okay, you talk about ownership of software and you spend thousands of dollars on a platform where you own nothing. If Valve gets evil one day, they can easily limit your access to all your games without any consequences. You can't do anything. Proprietary is less secure and less stable. There's no evidence to that. It all comes down to how good are the developers. Bugs get fixed faster on open source or for software. No, they don't. There are problems with Linux and for software that's been in the software for decades, just like the days on proprietary software. You might debate that it's a little bit easier to find them if you want to look for them. So therefore, they use a lot of I'm tired of corporate this. I'm tired to be locked in. I want my freedom back. Emotions. So this is an interesting little thing here that watch the video and don't be like this. Be glad this happens. Every time a vulnerability is found and fixed, it's a win for you. Because if it's not found and fixed, or if it's found and not fixed, you're vulnerable. Little creepy fucking whatever, North Korean whatever can come in and tinkle-dinkle your Google search or something like that. I don't know why people get so fed up and are so afraid of bugs being found out, security issues being found out. That's good. That's good. It's like figuring out that your car has a leak, and if you don't fix it, it will explode in 2 months. But you found it and you fixed it. Less defensive, more like, thank you. Whoever AI or whatever, whoever found it, thank you. I love reading problems with Windows and software in general because it highlights that nothing is perfect and we should not just live with this false security aspect or narrative. And it means that people are actually doing something. Every time I see a Linux problem arise, a Linux bug, an insecurity problem, I know it's being fixed. And that's fucking good, but it won't be fixed if they don't know about it. And if you just automatically think that this is secure, this is stable, and will never get hacked, why should you look? There's no reason to. I know I locked all the doors. Why should I look? And then it turned out you didn't. The Linux world needs to stop being more defensive. Or have to stop being so defensive. Linux is not perfect. And a lot of people will not be happy on Linux. Which is fine. Each to their own. Linux users need to accept that not everyone want what they want. See you all later. Bye-bye.